You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Another shooting incident happened down in Texas yesterday, and where there was a school shooting. We just want to say our thoughts and prayers are with the family and loved ones of those children who have passed away, and also the teachers that have passed away as well. And so on the heels of what Golden State and the Dallas Mavericks had to play on yesterday, that was on the heels of this bad situation in Dallas. I think it was a lot of frustration, and Steve Kerr went viral. I believe went viral for the right reasons. That's my belief. And just wanted to pay homage and respect to the families who lost loved ones. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
It's your co-host, Danny.
Fans, got a full show today. Look, we're going to talk a little NBA, a little bit about Formula 1. Nick Saban, boy, why did you say what you said? And we have an interesting trading card scenario. But first, Danny, to the NBA playoffs, and where last evening the Golden State Warriors got thrashed, trying to make a comeback, but they got thrashed in game number 4, in where we thought Golden State was going to go ahead and sweep them. That wasn't the case. Dallas went ahead and surprised many and actually put up a good fight. They put up a good fight. The Dallas Mavericks went ahead and prevailed here, 119-109 against the Golden State Warriors, and where Steph Curry ended up with 20 points. Luka had 30 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists, close to a triple-double. And Dallas went ahead and forces a game 5 back in San Francisco, Danny. Man, I honestly thought Golden State was going to go ahead and do this sweep, not a gentleman's sweep, but a straight up sweep. But I'm thinking it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. What say you, Danny?
I thought Dallas could get this game. They've been playing so hard, and they've been in all of these games. Honestly, game 1 they got blew out, but game 2 they should have won. Golden State. I was curious last night watching the game when Golden State made that run in the fourth quarter. Why Kerr just didn't stay with who got them within the 8? He subbed in Curry, then he brought in Klay Thompson. And I'm like, you have momentum with this group. They got you all the way back to cut it to single digits. Why take them out? They ended up losing the game, and we'll see what game 5 presents, because Dallas isn't scared of Golden State. It's just a matter of, is Dallas going to rely on the 3-point shot, or are they going to take it to the basket like they did last night? They took it to Golden State, and that's when they built that lead again, and they weren't so reliant on the 3, but they're making their threes as well. So this is a crucial game for Golden State, for 1, to close out the series. 2, they get some rest before the finals, and you just don't want to go back to Dallas ultimately.
Danny, how many games do you think Dallas seriously going to win?
If they win tomorrow night, they can definitely make this interesting. They're a team. They're one of these teams that they're like a mosquito, man. They just keep messing with you. They're resilient, man. They hang in. They're not, like I said, this could easily be 2-2. And Golden State, they get into these lulls, man. Like they're just. But you do remember in the Memphis series when they got blew out by 55 or whatever that game was, they went back to Golden State, took care of business. It was over. So I expect the same thing tomorrow night, where they finish up and wrap this series. But I'm just saying, don't play with fire. Just knock out Dallas, because they do have a superstar in Luka, And that team feeds off Luka. And Brunson came to play last night, Dinwiddie, the whole nine. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
With Golden State, they're on the heels of going back to the finals for the 6th time in 8 years. Not many teams have done that. Not many franchises have done that. The last franchise to do that was, to my understanding, Chicago Bulls with Jordan and Pitt. Golden State is looking to do is rare. And what better way to stamp your piece in history than on your home court? Meanwhile, we do have a game tonight, game number 5.
Yes.
Boston Celtics against the Miami Heat down in Miami. I really want Miami to win. Maybe because I'm still feeling some kind of way about this series, because Milwaukee Bucks honestly could go ahead and beat both teams had we had a healthy Chris Middleton. I really believe that. And I believe they would have competed very well in the finals against the Golden State. So this could have been a championship. This could have been a chip that the Bucks let get away. I would say this, Danny. I think Miami, their last game performance was horrid. And I believe that they will come out as game busters and with a little bit more energy, a little bit more pep, a little bit more force. And this is going to be a contentious game. I really believe that. I think we have been witnessing a terrible series, quite frankly, in one where the swings, the point difference has been so wide and so huge. The gap has been just, man, the swing's been just outrageous. And I think this is going to be the game that is going to be the closest game in the series. I think Miami's going to get this one, man, but it's going to be very close. Will they get the series? This game 5 is pivotal.
Yep.
Because I see if Boston wins game 5, they're not going to lose game 6. They're not going to lose game 6. But if Miami wins this game 5, I can see this possibly going to 7. What say you, Danny?
Yeah, this game I'm eagerly anticipating. I have to see if Marcus Smart's playing. I haven't seen the injury report yet to see if he's going to play or not after that nasty ankle injury that he gutted out when he came back in game 3 and he sat game 4. So I think that'll be a key factor, and if he's playing and what kind of impact he can play with, because those of us that have had ankle injuries like he had, that's tough to come back. Even if you have treatment, it's just hard to move laterally. So I'm curious about him, and I think that I'm gonna go Boston tonight. I think Miami being home, they should take care of business, and they do play well at home. I can see Boston stealing a game here. I'm gonna go Boston with the upset tonight. It's a toss up, straight up, because these two teams, like you mentioned, it's just been all over the board. There's been no consistency. Each team has just beat the other one down in each game, and who knows what happens tonight. So I'm just hoping for a good game, a good competitive game, and come down to the end, keep it interesting.
And now, Danny, on to some Formula 1 racing, in where this past Sunday, Formula 1 was on TV once again. Fans, y'all know that I have been converted into a Formula 1 racing fan. I ain't gonna lie, Danny, I was kind of hyped, man, because I hadn't seen Formula 1 in a week. And this particular race happened in Spain, the Spanish Grand Prix. A whole lot happened in this one, Danny. I ain't gonna lie. The very first lap, Sir Lewis Hamilton, and we're talking about maybe a minute, maybe not even a minute into the race, Sir Lewis Hamilton got run in on, got into a little collision. That collision caused his tire come flat, if you will, and he also had some damage to the car itself. He had to go ahead and pit the very first lap, and next thing you know, he was in like 18th, 19th place, man. And he was this steady climbing. And so although I was frustrated as hell because he was in, I want to say the fifth or sixth pole, I think the sixth pole position. Yep. And I was like, man, he can actually get to the podium and actually win this thing, man. So I was so gung-ho, man. And when that thing happened in the very first minute, I was like, oh, man, you got to be kidding me. But what I really thought about, and he came on the radio and he was like, hey, y'all, this may not be the race. Let's go ahead and save the engine for the next race. Mm-hmm. And they said, no, just stay on out there. Just keep it going. Now, it was very hot. There was a lot more strategy involved with trying to save the tires. People had to pit more frequently. And the way that the track was, it was more along the lines of, it was a little bit more conducive to pass. Sir Lewis Hamilton was in like 18, 19 position, something like that. He steady made his way on up, whether it was because of collisions or car malfunctions or tires just jacked up, or Sir Lewis Hamilton passing people up. He ended up in fifth place. Mm-hmm. So he steady made his way. And I was like, I always wanted to see a champion kind of grind and really kind of make his way up the board there. And he has actually done that. Or he did that in this particular race. I think Mercedes has found something here. I think they have found a fix or fixes to what has ailed them at the beginning of the season. And so George Russell did get third for Mercedes. He was on the podium with Max winning once again. I believe that's his fourth victory in 6 races this year. And so, man, I just think that Mercedes has found something. I think Sir Lewis has found something here. I'm anxiously awaiting him to get on the podium once again so he can get some points to, start to catch up here. This is a long season, Danny. We're talking about 22, 23, 24 races. They're only on number 7, if I'm not mistaken. So they still have a ways to go here. They can grind this thing on out. That's what I'm hoping. But it's going to have to turn here pretty quickly. I'm anxious. I'm excited about the next race that's happening this Sunday in Monaco, man. You kidding me? This thing going to be amazing, man. I think it was announced that about 287,000 people were a 3-day stretch attended the race itself in Spain. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of people. Monaco, I think, is going to be along the same lines. Yeah. But I will say this, that I started to compare with Miami. And I was like, man, the pomp and circumstance, the pageantry Miami had, man. Yeah. I haven't seen it matched yet, man. I haven't seen the match, Danny. So Formula 1, if you're listening, your boys would like to come down to Miami next year. We are trying to learn about Formula 1. The best way to do that is to have a hands-on experience. Formula 1, love to partake in the experience. So, Danny, it was a great race, even though Sir Lewis Hamilton didn't podium, but looking forward to this weekend's race. And now, Danny, on to some words here by Nick Saban. There's been a whole lot that has been talked about NIL since NIL has actually become a thing. And Nick Saban, the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, actually came out and just, I don't know what the correct word is, man, but he accused programs of paying players. All right, so Nick Saban, man, I mean, again, head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, had said some off the wall things in the past. But this time, man, this was something something else. He says, I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. Saban told the audience. A&M, Texas A&M was first. Texas A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, likeness. We didn't buy one player, all right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain this in the future because more and more people are doing it. It's tough, unquote. That's Nick Saban. He also goes in about Jackson State. Saban says, quote, Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year who was a really good Division I player to come to their school. It was in the paper and they bragged about it. No one did anything about it. It's a whole lot of out there that Saban put, man. This thing has layers to it. I'll just say this, Danny. And Coach Prime came back and said, man, basically we didn't pay a player no $1 million. I'm not getting paid $1 million. And it seemed like, Saban went ahead and apologized, tried to call both Jimbo Fisher and Coach Prime. Coach Prime indicated that, yeah, he probably called, but, didn't talk. He was like, if you're going to apologize, you might as well apologize publicly since you made the comment publicly. And I have to agree with that.
Yep.
And all, Danny. But in terms of what Nick Saban is saying about name, image, and likeness, is Nick Saban getting kind of scared that now that these student athletes are getting paid name, image, and likeness dollars, that some of these 5-star, 4-star players would now go to HBCUs, now go to other programs other than the machine that is of Alabama Crimson Tide? I don't know if his gripe is he's seeing a lot of people in the paper who said they're getting dollars for name, image, and likeness, but they're not seeing the marketing side of it. They're not seeing these student athletes actually marketing products, things of that nature. I don't know. But it says a whole lot that Nick Saban, you're not giving recognition to good quality coaches. So you mean tell me Travis Hunter, who he basically was talking about, allegedly, decided to go to Jackson State, leave Florida State, and not get coached up by a Hall of Famer who is considered the best quarterback in NFL history? I don't know. I mean, he played receiver also in the Super Bowl. I mean, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, that being Coach Prime.
Yep.
He's coached at the high school level successfully. And I mean, he was successful as a Jackson State coach so far. So they say, you mean tell me Coach Prime is not a good caliber coach to where a great student athlete doesn't want to go to him? Because of those things, but because of NIL money or money from NIL deal? It's a whole lot of questions there, Coach Saban. I think it is worth a conversation publicly because let's hear what you're really saying. Let's hear what you're really talking about, man.
Yep.
So I think it was a snub, a swipe at, really at Jackson State and for that matter, HBCUs. Because this could very well have happened at my alma mater, Florida A&M. It could happen in any HBCU to where Nick Saban and others may feel like this. But maybe this NIL is leveling the playing field. Now maybe they're a little nervous that these 5- and 4-star student athletes are thinking otherwise. But maybe I will feel a little bit more comfortable going to HBCU. Culture a little bit different. Studying maybe a little bit more conducive to my needs. Maybe this is an opportunity to level that playing field, and maybe these coaches are getting a little nervous. Not only that, but you also have the portal.
Yep.
And now maybe it's a combination of the portal and NIL deals that they feel a little threatened now. Danny, what say you?
Jason, this one, yeah, I agree. I think it has layers to it, and I would definitely like to see the two of them speak on some type of forum to understand what was his true intent behind saying what he said and saying it publicly. Because to throw a shot like that and then try to backtrack it, I think Dion is in the right here, man, to say, hey, man, no. For one, you put my program throwing us under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just going to just throw things out there without any validation or facts, honestly. That hasn't been proven that what he said. And Dion's point is, hey, man, I'm trying to trailblaze the path from an HBCU perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To say, hey, you can come to an HBCU and I can get you to the NFL. So he's been lobbying ever since he's been at Jackson State and even before he got there. But so there's so many different angles to this. And I know he threw Jimbo Fisher under the bus too.
Man.
So that I don't know if there's something deeper there between the two of them with when Jimbo was at Florida State and all that. But all in all, I think in this current landscape and current college climate, it is going to make people a little nervous because they don't know what to expect and how families and student athletes are going to respond with these new rules in place. It's always been one way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when change is always introduced to something, that makes people nervous, especially the old school people that have been doing certain things for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't manage change, or you just don't understand exactly how it'll impact you directly, you may say certain things that may or may not have merit just because you're nervous or you just don't understand or you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Saban's had a machine at Alabama for a while now. And if you start plucking, taking some of that foundation away, it may start to crumble a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't think he has anything to be worried about at this point in time. That's what really threw me for a loop when he made the comment. I'm like, man, you're still getting all this talent. It's not like everyone just exited stage left on him.
Come on, man.
So that was the other part of this. Is like, why?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You didn't lose a whole bunch of talent. Why did you single this situation out? Which you read between the lines, you can make draw some conclusions on where he's going with this.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see the two of them talk. And the other thing is with them doing the Aflac commercials now. Man. That's the other part. Is like, what?
Come on, man. They could play. They could play on that, man.
Yep.
They talk publicly, and they be like, man, going to probably need some insurance. With that, like after this conversation, man. I mean, there's so many ways you can do this, man.
Yeah. So it was just strange that he said what he said, and I would like to understand further what he meant. And I'm hoping Dion kind of presses the issue on him to make it a public conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So then Dion can press him and put him under the hot light for making a statement that, until proven otherwise, has no merit.
Mm-hmm. And now, Danny, on to our trading card scenario. Who we got?
So tonight, Jason, in light of Jason Tatum in the Eastern Conference Finals again, our trading card scenario is Jason Tatum's 2017 Panini Prizm Rookie Card for Brandon Ingram's 2016 Panini Prizm Rookie Card. Couple quick bios. Jason Tatum was the third overall pick by the Boston Celtics in 2017 out of Duke. 3-time All-Star, made the All-Rookie team, 1-time All-NBA, and currently averaging 20.9 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Brandon Ingram was the second overall pick by the Los Angeles Lakers in 2016 out of Duke. 1-time All-Star, made the All-Rookie team, and was most improved player. Currently averaging 18.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. So, Jason, who do you want in your portfolio?
This was a tough one. I ain't going to even lie. it was tough because on the heels of the announcement yesterday, before the Warriors Mavs game, they announced the first team All NBA, or basically the All NBA teams, first, second, and third teams.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason Tatum was on the first team All NBA. This was tough because Jason Tatum, he's inconsistent, man, but he averaged 27 for this year, man. Man, this was a tough one. Brandon Ingram averaged 22, close to 23 points this season for the Pelicans. And then I thought about really the teams. I mean, the journey that Brandon Ingram has had to go through so far. I mean, being on the Lakers, dealing with for LeBron, dealing with getting traded or talks about getting traded. I ain't gonna never forget that, because when they were talking about getting traded, the Lakers came to the Indiana Pacers, played. And I will never forget. I have pictures to this day, because it was said at that point in time that LeBron basically wanted half the team gone for Anthony Davis. They lost to the Pacers by like 40 plus points. Yep. And all you would see is LeBron sitting by himself at the end of the bench.
I remember that game.
I went to that game, man.
I remember, yeah, we were texting.
I was like, man, you gotta be kidding me. Are you? I think the situation that Brandon Ingram finds himself in is hard because he's playing for a small market team, who's historically been in last place in revenue in terms of a lot of rankings here. But I think he's found a home, and he's in the Western Conference, which is different. Then I think about Jason Tatum. I mean, he's playing for the Boston Celtics. He's gone to the conference finals multiple times. He's playing for the Boston Celtics.
Yep.
Now, I'm not a Boston Celtic fan, but there's only a couple franchises that have won 15 plus championships, one being the Los Angeles Lakers, the other being the Boston Celtics. So that's a lot of clout being on that franchise. Jason Tatum is going to be a future Hall of Famer. If he does not win a chip at all, he's still going to go to the Hall of Fame because he has that Boston Celtics backing. I can't say the same thing about Brandon Ingram. Because Jason Tatum's inconsistent, man, but he can get 20. He's averaging 27. So who do I want in my portfolio? Brandon Ingram's story is not done. That journey is not done. And I don't think he's going to end up in New Orleans. I think he's going to go to another franchise and actually flourish. And maybe he's that title piece, that missing piece that a team needs in order to win a title. That's where I think he might actually really flourish. And then I think his card would be even more valuable. Yeah, Jason Tatum is, quote unquote, one of the faces of the league. But I think Ingram's story and his journey is going to be that, and where his card could become more valuable, because I don't think he's going to end in New Orleans. So with that, Danny, I'm going with Brandon Ingram.
Going
with Brandon Ingram, man.
All right. Well,
I'm gambling on this one. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm gambling on this one.
I look at Jason Tatum. Like I said, he's the head of the franchise in Boston at this time. He's a known player in the league. He had success early in his career when they went and almost beat Cleveland to go to the NBA Finals in his second year, I believe it was, in that run against LeBron. And so after that series, that built Jason Tatum up and gave him his clout. And then I look at Brandon Ingram, the skinny kid out of Duke, and being a Lakers fan, we picked him. He was raw. And I still think hindsight is something else, man. But they had to make the trade because of LeBron. But with Brandon Ingram,
come on,
I'm looking at him now, and this was the player they were envisioning when they drafted him, right?
Yep.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
I think something is going on here with New Orleans with CJ McCollum being there with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually has a veteran that's supporting his style of play and actually backing him and empowering him. Mm-hmm. If you look at New Orleans this year in the second half, and once they got McCollum, they made that run to the playoffs and actually tested Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon Ingram brought his game. And he's starting to put a little weight on. The only thing with Brandon Ingram is he is so quiet. And when I look at a card and its value, as good as he is and he's projecting to be, I agree with you, man. I think he may not necessarily be the piece, but he may, and if they keep the team as it is,
mm-hmm.
and they bring in, because they actually have a nice squad.
Yeah, nice squad, man. Yeah, nice squad.
Like I said, that McCollum trade may in the end be what they're looking for. And they even have Zion. I don't know how that's going to fit, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at it, man, and I look at Tatum. Tatum has more of a presence. He's in a bigger market. He's not really vocal either, to be honest with you. He's not a big, like, rah-rah guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Brandon Ingram's so quiet. I think he's one of those players where if you're in a small market and you're quiet,
mm-hmm.
people aren't going to understand your true value. You're not on TNT every Thursday night. You're on ESPN all the time. And unless you watch him or, a fan of ball, you really don't know about Brandon Ingram just yet. So at this point in time, I'm going to take Tatum's card. But I'm not far off from what you're thinking as far as his trajectory, Ingram's trajectory, and how he could, if he builds upon what he did this season and get that confidence and be that star player with the role players around him, he could be in that Tatum type. He's building into that Tatum type role. He's just in a different market.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Tatum in this scenario, but I see your point.
And then as we're talking about Jason Tatum, there's always been interesting conversations amongst GMs or GM-like people or just ourselves being on the back porch where we talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. If you were a GM, who would you actually take? Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, or who would you actually trade between those two?
When Jaylen Brown is the lead dog, he's that same type of play. Tatum and him are like neck and neck. When I look at it, Tatum has just a little bit more than Jaylen Brown from like in these key games. Jaylen Brown misses key free throws and certain scenarios where I think Tatum has the edge on him. Defensively, I like Jaylen Brown's game better than Tatum's because he's a little more athletic, not seen as that superstar. And he's another one who is not very vocal either. He just goes out and plays his game and does his thing. And Tatum gets to shine, but they need each other.
Yeah. Yep.
To be successful. And if I were to say, all right, who am I trading? I think it has to be Jaylen Brown from my perspective. And it's only because I think Tatum has a little more moxie in key situations that a little more than Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has shown over his career he can be that guy. But then sometimes he kind of fades. You know who he reminds me of, honestly, in this scenario where we're talking about here, is Giannis and Middleton. In a way that Middleton can carry the team, but then sometimes Middleton kind of fades. sometimes for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And if Tatum, that's where I think Tatum's a little more consistent that way. And he's the alpha dog. So I'm gonna keep Tatum on my team, but it's dang close.
Yeah.
How about you, Jason?
Man, listen, man, it's very close, man. I was thinking while you were talking, if Tatum wasn't there, could Jaylen Brown take the reins as the face of that organization? I don't know. I think he can.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can. That's why this is so hard. I'll put it like this, man. I think Jason Tatum studied under Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times where there are some lapses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not Kobe-like. So I think there's still a little more room until he hits that ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's inconsistent. Jaylen Brown, man, he is good, man.
Yes, he is.
He's good. He just turns the ball over a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you can clean that up. This would be a hard one, but I would think Boston may keep Jason Tatum. Because, he just got announced to the first team All-NBA.
Yep.
And with that comes a lot of prestige, comes a lot of clout. Mm-hmm. And I think Boston would be more. I think they would go ahead and keep Jason Tatum and trade Jaylen Brown. Me as a GM, that would be hard. Had this decision about All-NBA not happened,
yep,
it would have been harder. And I think I probably would have stuck with Jaylen. I think I would have stuck with Jaylen, man, and I would have gotten a whole lot of draft rights, a whole lot of draft picks, first round draft picks at that, and really kind of build around Jaylen Brown a little bit more, because I just think that Brown has a good mid-range game. He just has a nice game, man. I think we have yet to really see, his full potential.
Yep.
I think there's a little bit more. I think we've come close to seeing the full potential of Jason Tatum. I really do. But Jaylen Brown, I don't think we have come close to seeing his potential yet. Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.